What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Shattering Superstructure. On this episode, we have Scout Taylor-Compton and Nicky Whelan for their new film, The Best Man, out April 21st. Hope you enjoy the episode. How are you today, Nicky?
I'm good, love. How are you?
Doing well. Yeah, I really
I
enjoyed.
like your picture behind you. Behind you, you've got the old Edward Scissorhands. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's one of my all-time faves for sure. Yeah, I really enjoyed The Best Man. I thought it was awesome and a great action film.
Thank you.
Anyways, how did you and this project find each other initially?
The start of last year, I think it was like no, a couple months in, maybe April last year. I know they just sent me the script and the offer, and it was a really quick turnaround. Sort of came in last minute, and I read it, and I was like, "This looks super fun. I get to play damsel in distress amongst all these, action heroes, which usually I'm the action chick." So I was really excited to sort of, you know, be in the mix. I love the cast. I've worked with a couple of people before, so I was like, absolutely, get me in. So it was sort of a no-brainer. And again, we shot this really quickly, by the way. I think it was like 11 or 12 days, which is so quick to shoot a movie. Like it's no
Wow.
joke. So we knocked it out really quickly, and we all had to work pretty hard, but fun people. And yeah, just came in at a good time. I had nothing going on. It was a fun script.
That's awesome. Yeah, I heard it was kind of all shot in one location. So you know, that definitely helped, I guess, add production value, but I'm sure it helped with like the short amount of time that you guys had to shoot, right?
Oh, of course, yeah. Being able to shoot out of one location, it was a massive hotel casino,
Mhm.
a couple of hours outside of New Mexico, and it's like inland somewhere. Actually, I had no idea where me and Scout drove together from the airport. It was like 3 hours inland. I have no idea where we're going. There's this huge property, and it was absolutely beautiful, all around a lake. So there's a lot of things to shoot and use, but all the exact same locations absolutely helped. I don't reckon they'd be able to do it if it was a lot of locations. They would have had to have made it a longer shoot. But that's the beauty in being able to do stuff like this. I think COVID taught a lot of people how to, shoot movies and isolate them, people doing movies out of their house in one location. And if they're good enough and action or interesting enough, it works. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely does. And like you said, it has a great ensemble cast. I mean, what's it like kind of showing up on set? Well, you've worked with some great action stars, but like seeing Dolph Lundgren there and um, Luke Wilson, who it's his first foray into action. So, I mean, you've got kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum. One's a veteran, one's just starting. Did you take any advice from Dolph and give any advice to Luke?
No, I absolutely would not be giving advice to two actors that are very well known. They know what they're doing just fine. Huge fan of both of them. I'd met Luke before. He's a lovely man. I've worked with his brother Owen Wilson way back in the day.
Right,
Um,
for Hall Pass?
Whole pass, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was nice to now work with his brother. And obviously, I've been watching Dolph Lundgren since I was a child. So I'm a huge fan, and he's like such a classic icon for action movies. And he's still as badass as he was back then as he is now. And, he was giving us advice and helping on set. And, you can tell he's done this a lot before, how to make shots look and how to make things realistic. And, the so much pieces to put together because there's different groups of us running around the hotel. And he just does a really great job of helping out and sort of helping direct that and make it all look as real as possible. And you wouldn't have known it was Luke's first action movie. He was straight in like Flynn doing fight scenes and stuff. And we didn't have a lot of time to sort of rehearse things, but he sort of got shown on the spot, and then he's getting dudes in headlocks and stuff. I mean, they're all professionals. They just make it look real.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's great to hear. I wouldn't expect anything less, just uh, Luke rising to the occasion. And for some reason, that seems like how I imagined it, like Dolph just kind of being the mentor for everyone, right?
Yeah, it kind of
Um,
definitely had that vibe, which is great, you know. And then you've got Brendan Fair, who's an
yeah,
incredible actor. He's such a badass and such a cool guy. He just really, I feel like he's the glue of this movie. He's so good. Him and Scout stuff together is unbelievable. They had a lot of time to do some cool stuff together, and I think they got some really good performances in this movie, the both of them.
yeah, I agree. For some reason, in like the second act, I thought he was gonna sort of end up being one of the bad guys, like working with his brother.
Oh,
But it subverted my expectations, so that was good. Yeah.
I love
Um,
that. Yeah, yeah, I can see how you might have thought that, but yes, that's cool.
yeah. And this seems like trivial a little bit to ask, and I'm sure you've been asked this a lot, but do you have a dialect coach for like speaking a different accent? Because you do it so well.
Thank you. I hear my accent slip through sometimes. Back in the day, I worked with a coach every now and then. But in Australia, it's so weird. We grew up like when I was a kid, like 60 or 70% of our TV content was American. So hearing the American accent, it's so like it's so normal for us. It's not shocking, and it's actually easier for Australians to do an American accent and as American doing Australian is very difficult. So I don't know. I slip sometimes, but I kind of have been doing it for so long now. I just jump on board, and I always ask someone, if you hear anything, just yell it out, and I'll do it again. You know, but when you're in something, it kind of helps you get into character. I mean, it's also really good being Australian too, and getting to be Australian in movies. That's very helpful.
I'm sure. And you know what I love is that you and Scout worked on Halloween 2 with Rob Zombie, right? So have you remained in touch? Did you talk about, memories on set from that shoot?
Yeah, well, she rang me and she was like, "Are you doing this movie? We're playing sisters." And I'm like, "Yes, I am. Let's go." So we'd sort of spoken on the phone. We've actually did 7500 together too, which is a
Oh,
horror film. Yeah, where we sit on a plane together for 3 weeks. Like that was so much fun. And then we did Halloween. We didn't have any crossovers in Halloween, but working for Rob Zombie is, I mean, I saw him a couple times after randomly at stuff. He's a badass. He is such a great guy. And his wife, Cherie, like they're really cool people. I love them and I love how they work. Halloween 2 was awesome for me. All my scenes were with Malcolm McDowell, who's like
yeah,
one of the greatest actors of all time. And then I went and
seriously.
Franklin and Bash with him as well. I mean, it's weird. I've crossed over a lot with the same actors, but I forget like I think he's one of the greatest actors in the world. I got to do Halloween with him. He's a badass. So doing those, and that was a small role for me in that movie. But look who I got to work with. And, we'd shot a lot more, which didn't go in the movie. So I just got to just be in really good company and then, make friends with Scout. And then boom, I'm working again with her on this. So it just everything does full circle in this business at some point. Working with Luke, but I'd worked with his brother 10 years ago, 15 years or whatever it was. We all find our way back around in the end, and it's just nice. And we've all evolved, and we're all I did a horror, and then 7500 was a horror. This is an action. They're all different.
Yeah, and to that point, like, do you have a preference, horror or action, both as an actor and as a viewer?
I love action movies. I love comedy. I love all movies really. And I started out doing a lot of comedy. I miss doing comedy. I just did something recently for a TV show, some comedy. It was so much fun. I've missed it so bad. Just the set and everything. It's just I love it. I want to do more again. I miss it. But yeah, I mean, I love all genres, but I prefer, what would I say? I don't know. I'm a bit of a Star Wars nerd and I kind of like stuff like that. I don't know. I just kind of get drawn into whatever.
Yeah, and uh, that kind of reminds me, I think I read you had a dog named Yoda, right?
Yeah, he's right down there sleeping. If you can hear him snoring, oh yeah, just lots of Star Wars stuff. I just grew up with Star Wars, so I tend to have my house is filled with a lot of Star Wars stuff.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite Star Wars film?
I love Return of the Jedi. It's probably my favorite. And I'm a bit of a Mandalorian fan, so I love it so much. I don't know if
Oh,
you're a Star Wars person, but it's really badass. Just cool stuff. I don't know what it is. I think it's just because I grew up with it as a kid. So it's just part of my childhood. So every time I see everything to do with it, just I don't know. It's just got good memories attached to it.
yeah. Yeah, me too. It brings up that nostalgic factor. And you've worked with,
Yeah.
Terrence Malick, the Fairley Brothers, Robert Rodriguez, I think on From Dusk Till Dawn. I don't know if he directed one of your episodes, but Paul Schrader. It's like you attract all these auteurs and prolific filmmakers. It seems like you've had the opportunity to work with. So when you see a director of like that caliber attached to the script you read, is it like pretty much a given that you're going to take the role, or does it sort of depend on what the subject matter is?
No, I think with those things, it's like it's such a treat. You watch all their movies, and then Terrence Malick, that was such. I mean, I love that you brought that up. He's probably one of the favorite people I've ever worked with in my life. He is an incredible human being. He is so evolved, and he's like an alien from a different world. The way he creates and the way his mind thinks, and to be on his set and be in the mix. And I remember auditioning for it, and I didn't hear anything for 12 months. And then I get this
Wow.
call, we need you on set. And I'm, what is going on? And I did a TV series called Matador. And then I did Dust Till Dawn, two projects with Robert Rodriguez. Matador, Robert directed two of the episodes. I was the lead in the series with Gabriel Luna and Alfred Molina. Cool, badass show. Probably one of the best jobs I've ever done, getting to go to work with these guys every day. I'm going to be, it's just so cool. And Robert's just a badass to work with. He is, I don't know, he's got his own, he carries the red camera in his hand, he's got his guitar, and just he creates a vibe like Terrence Malick does. Paul Schroeder, I went in, I'd done a couple of movies with Nick Cage, and he was doing Dog Eat Dog out there with Willem Dafoe, and he was like, do you want to come in and just do a couple scenes? And I was like, yes, like you don't say no to that. Absolutely not. And I'd actually just met Paul at a film festival in the Cayman Islands a couple of weeks before. So I got there, but it still doesn't take away the nerves, and I got there, and that's like those sets are it's the real deal. You've got some of the best actors in the world. It's really overwhelming. You just kind of have to ballsy up and just get on with it straight away. But these directors are amazing. And yeah, it's not until like I get interviewed or I'm chatting about it, I forget that I've been able to work with these guys. It's so much fun. There's some great memories in there.
Yeah, I would imagine the guitar Robert Rodriguez is that he brings on set. You say it reminds me, there was this one like clip that went viral on The Mandalorian where he's playing the guitar for Baby Yoda,
Yes,
the
I saw that.
puppet version.
It's just that would be a dream job. Like that'd be so cool just to be with all them on that set. I mean, they're just killing it. They're doing such a good job. We're just
Yeah.
sitting back and enjoying it. Yeah.
And to being like an Australian working in film, you said it reminded me of what you said in the film about like the difference between American and Australian men. Or no, it was in a different interview, excuse me. And I was wondering like what are some of the other sociological differences that you've noticed?
I think I said that in a Men's Health magazine interview so
Okay.
long ago. And it was more like about dating and stuff like this. And I mean, when I did that, I think that shoot came right after Hall Pass. So we're probably talking 12 years ago since I've been asked that question. I don't know, to be honest with you. I've been here so long. I've been in LA for 16 years. I don't even remember what it's like to be around. I mean, I still go home twice a year with my family and stuff. I miss Australia, and I miss the men, and I miss the women, and I miss, the culture. And it is different to LA. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's home for me, and it just feels certainly not as many as people down there. I think the population of Australia is like 20 million, like 23 or something, 24 million people. The state of California is 40 million alone. Like, can you just sort of put that into perspective of the amount, it's just, it's overwhelming living out here in California. It's a very different lifestyle because you live in LA, predominantly living in the business,
Yeah.
which is fun, but it's exhausting. So when I go home, I grew up in a small beach town, an awesome family.
Okay.
I got three older brothers and older sister. They all got kids and stuff. So I go home and I'm not around people talking about the business, and we're just pegging out clothes on the washing line still. It's old school. It's like, and I think I miss that a lot about home. And when I go back, it's very, I don't know. My mum's got chickens in the backyard. I mean, people do that here obviously too, but it's just got a different vibe. We live right near the beach. I don't know. It's just not the business, and I love that side of my life as well, that I can go and enjoy. If that makes sense.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that sounds really nice. And a lot more secluded than being in the city. It's been an honor speaking with you, and I had one more question, or I guess the two part. What's your favorite Dolph role? What's your favorite Luke Wilson role? And what do you have coming up next? Exciting projects.
Trying to think, what movie did Luke Wilson do years ago? He's such a stud. What did he do? There was something, you sort of put me on the spot. I can't remember. He did something. I mean, he's gorgeous in everything.
Was it
I
was it
can't,
a Wes Anderson film?
maybe. Can you say some of them?
There's Bottle Rocket. There was the Royal Tenenbaums. I think he's in a couple other too. But
No, he did something where I watched him and I was like, it was a long time ago. He was such a stud, still is, but I'm just trying to think. And Dolph Lundgren, probably the Rocky, but what else did he do? He did what was it? Showdown in Little Tokyo. No, it was, what was it?
oh,
Do you remember
um,
the other one he did?
yeah,
Super cheesy, super cool, like old school. It's not Big Trouble in Little China, which by the way is one of my favorite movies, but it's kind of that
right.
whole vibe. Remember that the Van Damme days and
Oh, totally. Yeah,
Kickboxer and all those movies. Like, I just remember watching them as a kid. They were so much fun. I mean, you watch them now and they're hilarious, but
yeah.
some of them still hold up. And he just looks, I think he played like an action, what is it? Galaxies something. I saw it randomly by accident recently, and he plays He-Man or something, and he's just, is it He-Man or like one of those characters? And he looks identical to, I mean, he's just a beast. So I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah.
There's so many that both of those guys have done, complete different opposite ends of the scale, but just both gorgeous, amazing actors. And in regards to what I got coming up, I got a bunch of stuff coming up at the moment. I couple of more action movies coming out. I've actually gone back to a little bit of hosting, which is not something I didn't want to go back to doing, but there's a TV series in Australia called Bondi Vet, which is an animal show. And I've been doing a lot of stuff with some rescue facilities out here, a sanctuary in particular, Spirit of Animals. And I put it on my Instagram, and my old production crew in Australia called up and were like, do you want to have a segment on our show? And I was like, if we get to talk about rescue animals and shelters and animals and what's really going on, yes, I'll do it. So I did a pilot episodes with that, which will be coming out soon. I have a makeup, not a makeup, but a skin line coming out of stuff, which is, yeah, there's just a lot going on at the moment. So I'm sort of having a good start to the year, touch wood. Hopefully stay that way.
Yeah, yeah, no, sounds good.
But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff coming up. So, and this obviously comes out April 21st in theaters, The Best Man. So
Yes. I'm yeah, looking forward to promoting it. I'm speaking with Scout later as well. Um,
awesome.
and yeah, that's very cool that you're hosting and to giving like rescue animals a bigger platform. It reminds me real quick of Maneater, which I saw, and it totally reignited my fear of sharks. I don't even know if I can swim in the ocean. I think shark movies used to be like Jaws, the mechanical shark. I mean, that was a big step forward for obviously so many reasons. But is it mostly CGI, or did you have some like real sharks involved in that shooting?
They brought a real puppet shark down to set, which was kind of a nightmare, and they were told that it was gonna be really hard work from someone originally who'd shot Jaws. They were like, "Don't do it." But the director really wanted to have moments with it, so we did use a little bit of it in it, and then they went to CGI. But yeah, I mean, I'd never done a shark movie. I got asked to do a shark movie. I was like, why not in this life? I'm going to do a shark movie. It was intense. There was a lot of there's a lot of stuff in the water, and the conditions were crazy. And I mean, it's no joke making. And that again, we had barely any time to shoot it, so we had a lot of challenges in that movie, but it was fun. But yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, I got a movie coming out with crocodiles. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, why not? That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much for speaking with me and your generous answers. I really appreciate it, Nikki.
Oh, thanks, love. And please tell Scout I said hello. You'll be talking with her later.
Absolutely, I will. Take care.
Thanks, love. Bye bye.
All right, bye.
Hi,
Thank you.
Alex.
Hi, how's it going, Scout?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Um, I saw The Best Man, obviously, and loved it.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I like your poster back there. That's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, thank you. Mine too. And I love
Uh,
your background
oh,
posters.
thanks.
That's
I like that movie. That movie's all right.
So how did this project find you and what drew you to the script?
Um, how did this? I actually got a call from Nikki, who plays my sister in the movie, and she was attached to this movie, and she said, "Hey, these guys are gonna call you, and please come and play with me and do this movie with me." And I was like, well, Nikki, I would do anything with you. But when I read the script, I mean, who doesn't like Die Hard, you know?
Yeah,
Who doesn't like Die Hard? It's pretty much Die Hard at a wedding. So I was like, yeah, I'm there. Let's go. I love action and stuff like that. That's kind of my favorite stuff to do whenever I do movies is like the physicality stuff. I love getting my hands dirty. So um it was an easy yes for me.
that's awesome. And yeah, you've worked with Nikki twice before, right? Starting with Halloween 2.
I know it's crazy. I just forgot that she was in that. I forgot, but we didn't work together while we were filming that, so I think that's why. Nikki's just such a gem. Like her spirit is so great. I think I'll be friends with her forever.
Oh, yeah, I dig that. I spoke with her earlier and she told me to tell you hi. So
Oh, yay! I'll have to text her after this. Does she have her dog? Does she have Yoda?
he was right off screen. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Cody is too. My dog. He's chilling.
yeah, my dog's across the room. Just
Support animals, or
yeah,
we're their support animals, is what it is.
yeah, no kidding. And this has a great ensemble cast, The Best Man. What was it like to work with such great talent across the board? I mean, you've got a legend,
Yeah,
Dolph Lundgren
yeah.
on one hand, and Luke Wilson is this was surprisingly his first foray into action.
Yeah. It was kind of like a kid in a candy store, like every day someone new and epic would show up and you're just like, what is my life? Like this is so cool that I get to create and play with you in a field that I love so much called filmmaking. I was like, this is, what a great opportunity. And to be able to a lot of the times I would be filming and I would be watching them rather than acting what I needed to do because you're just so like in awe with like their talent and what they're bringing and stuff. And um I think that was really neat experience to have.
Sounds like it. Yeah, I'd be the same. Like that's a great way to put it. Kid in a
Yeah.
candy store.
Yeah.
um, and this is a random question, but I always wondered.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like similar to like alcohol in movies, but you smoke a joint at one point, and in
Huh.
in one of the scenes, and The reason I asked this is because I had dinner at Rob Schneider's house. It was like a random chain of events that led me there like years
Oh,
ago, and his niece talked about Grandma's Boy and how they like there was a rumor that they used real weed on set, and I'm like, how is that possible? Like, but it's like slightly more, it's pretty much legal now. So like,
yeah.
what
You'd
are
be
the
surprised. You'd be surprised at how many like actors are high when they go to set. Like I am when I partake in weed, it does not I cannot function on it
yeah.
as well as others. I kind of turn like dead to the world and I'm just like in my own head. So but so it's like very it's really interesting when actors can do that. I'm like, "You're high right now? How are you
Yeah.
like saying anything to me right now? I would not even be able to function a word." But I kind of I mean, I used to be a smoker. Like I used to be like I with cigarettes, like I used to smoke so much and I quit. And now it kind of like I'll get lightheaded whenever I have to like smoke anything in a movie. And that joint was one of them. I was like, woo. I was like, I feel a little like I don't know what's happening. What's in this? Like, and it's usually like, that I'm very sensitive to any of that kind of stuff. But I don't know how many joints I went through that day. I think we had like 10 joints and they were all gone.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know who was there behind the scenes, like trying to like roll these like herbs and stuff into this little paper. And I don't think anybody knew how to. So I think one of the actors had to do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They should get a
Like, I know how to roll. Let's go. Yeah. One time they wanted me to roll it. And I was like, I'm not really good at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, whoever rolled it should get a double credit, like
Yeah,
joint
exactly.
joint roller on
I
IMDb.
wonder if it is. I wonder if it is on the credit. That would be hilarious if it was.
Yeah.
Funny.
But yeah, so what's the first thing you look for in a project? Is it the writing, the directing, or the genre?
Um, everything really, but I guess what it comes down to first is obviously the writing. I mean, the script is like what hooks you, or if it doesn't hook you. And then the character, like, am I gonna have fun with this? Do I want to do this sort of character? Um, with her, she's very much like a daddy's girl, but then she ain't as well. So that was also fun. I don't really play those girls very often. Um, so it was really fun to be able to push that envelope, but then also still bring in Scout. Like that pool scene that Brendan and I had, it was originally just supposed to be a talking, sitting down in the jacuzzi and
Mhm.
like cute clothes. And I was like, that's boring. I was like, we've done that. So I mapped out this idea to have this playful, like pull them into the pool, like swim around each other, like smoke a joint. Like I came up with this like sort of thing. And I'm glad I did because I think it really added to like our characters.
That's great too when you can like contribute creatively and like just be like, hey, I kind of thought this would work, and then you see it unfold, and so you actually get to be part of the creative process outside of just acting, right?
A director and an actor have like a little bit more room to like figure out a scene together and not just do what was written. I feel like you can like kind of go off the script, if you will, and create something a little bit more magical than what is like on paper.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's like, I think Nikki said it was 11-day shoot. I mean, that's pretty tight. Is that the like smallest amount
No,
of time you've had to complete a movie? Really?
no, you would think, right? No,
Yeah.
I swear they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I'm like, sometimes I think there has to come to a point where I'm gonna have to be like, we cannot do a movie in 7 days. Like we can't. That I think there's a horror movie called 7 Days. Like that is why. Like
Yeah.
I mean 12 days is just like I mean, imagine if we had 20 days to do this movie and what it could have really turned into. I think, that's always like the money people. The money people always just want to make it, like, I feel like that's like the first question that comes into play. Well, how many days can you get it into? Like, did you want a product that's really, really great?
Yeah,
Give me 20
yeah.
days, man. I'll show you what I can get for your money.
um, and I was gonna ask if you prefer like horror or action or drama or comedy, but judging by the background, I think you
This is for
might
my
enjoy.
podcast. I have a podcast called Talk Scary to Me that I
Okay.
do with my co-host Danielle Harris, who's also in the horror genre.
Oh,
Um, so we have a massive fan base with it, and we were like, well, we should do something together. So we started this podcast. So this is where I record that. I mean, I will always have a love for my horror genre. I mean, I have so much fun doing those movies, but I love filmmaking in a whole, whether that's a comedy or a drama or whatnot. I just love it so much. And love being on set. So it doesn't matter really what the genre is, as long as the crew and the cast are dope and the writing's really rad. I think it's just fun.
yeah, yeah. It's a great way. I mean, it's a beautiful horror. It's a beautiful genre to like insert social commentary,
Oh yeah.
have some fun, because I think it's fun to get scared.
Yeah,
Um,
I do too.
and yeah, so that's why I love horror movies. And like, the Rob Zombie's Halloween remakes, I really enjoyed, and I think it made more sense what he did with Laurie Strode, that she was like Michael Myers' sibling,
Yeah.
because otherwise it always felt to me like, well, why is there, this connection between the two?
Yeah.
Um, so, what influence did you bring to that character, and how did it subsequently like influence your career and your acting?
Yeah, it's so crazy. Like going back to that sort of memory of, I mean, I didn't realize how massive the love was behind the Halloween franchise with Michael Myers and the character Laurie Strode until it was announced that I was playing Laurie Strode, and people were just instantly comparing me to Jamie. And as a 17-year-old, that's a lot to carry, especially a lot of understanding being introduced into this horror world and this genre. Um, and it showed like the first day that I came on set, and Rob knew too. And Rob came up to me and he was like, yo, he's like, I hired you for a reason. I didn't hire you to replicate what Jamie did in the first one. I hired you for what you brought. And that pep talk really did help me, because I was like, it's scary stepping into like big shoes in a sense. And thank God I didn't know how big they were at the time. Because who fucking knows what would have happened if I knew how I would have probably pissed myself. But I mean, obviously, like that sort of, because of how massive it is perceived and how much love is surrounding it. I mean, it definitely changed my whole life and my whole career. And I owe, I always say like I owe so much to, the movie and Michael Myers, but I really owe so much to the fans and how much they accepted me and how much to this day they support me because of that movie. They will support, anything that I do, whether it's whatever genre. They will continue to support it, which is great.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's so cool.
And who signed your Michael Myers Funko in the background?
Who signed that? Oh, I think I have Tyler on here, and
Okay,
then I have Malcolm, and
that's
then I have the OG Nick Castle.
oh
Um
wow.
yeah, and then this is like kind of some of the stuff that people have made over the years. I keep some of the stuff. And then I have Welcome to the Dollhouse. because I met Heather at a con and I love that movie. And I was like, I
Oh,
love you so much. Please sign something for me. And then
amazing.
we got her on the podcast.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and it's obviously, I'm sure there's so many roles and characters you want to play, but what would be your dream project and your dream role?
Man. I actually got really, really close to this movie. But I thought this actor or this actress, now actor, did
Mhm.
wonderful in it. Hard Candy. I don't know if you ever saw that independent movie.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that now Elliot Page, but was Ellen Page at the time,
Yeah.
did phenomenal, did an amazing job. That something like that would be really, really cool to sink my teeth into, which is like it's kind of like a play within a movie, because there's only two characters and it's all on character development and dialogue, which I think would be really fun. I think that would be dope.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, no, that would be amazing. And Hard Candy, yeah. I think when I first saw that, I was in college, and yeah, just a chilling experience.
Yeah. Such good writing, like
Yeah.
such good writing. I remember when I read that script, I was like, I want this so bad. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah. Um, and okay, so you worked with Dolph Lundgren on this movie. Do you have a favorite Dolph Lundgren movie?
I'm I wonder if it's Rocky. I mean, God, he's just like so phenomenal. I mean, I like all of them. I really do. Maybe the best man. Kidding, just because I'm biased. I don't know. There's too many to choose from. I mean, he's badass in everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no kidding. And
Yeah.
all right. Favorite Luke Wilson and Nicky Whelan movies.
Oh my God, you're putting me on the spot.
I know.
Oh my God. Nikki, I don't know. It's so funny. I don't think I've ever like seen any other Nikki movies that we didn't do together.
Mhm.
I was just talking to my co-star Danielle Harris, and I was like, I watched you in like Free Willy and The Last Boy Scout. I was like, have you seen any of my movies? And she's like, no. I was like, so you've never watched any of my movies, like any of them? She's like, no, why would I? I was like, oh my God. Luke Wilson, man. I mean, I'm trying to think of like an oldie. I just literally pulled up his IMDb because I forgot what the name of that movie was that I really, really, really loved him in. Oh God, there's way too many.
Yeah, there.
There's like way too many. Oh my God, he was in the '70s show. That's right. He was in that '70s show.
Oh, that's
Oh
right.
my God, it's like my favorite show. I own like all the seasons of that. I mean, Legally Blonde too. He was dope in that as well.
Oh yeah.
Old School,
Oh, Old School, of course. Yeah.
dude. Well, that's the movie. Old School.
Yeah.
God, this massive crush on that guy in Old School. He was so good. He's just done so much. He's playing dads.
I know.
I'm like, what? Luke Wilson's a dad? Like, I'll see him in a movie and I'm like, he's playing a dad.
No, yeah.
Go from Old School to playing dads. Crazy.
Seriously, frat
Life, man.
parties. Yeah, frat parties to the, dad
Yeah.
level.
Yeah. It's
It's
our own life that happens.
yeah. It's so funny how you mentioned Free Willy too, because that was literally my favorite movie as a little boy.
Oh,
And
really?
I had this stuffed animal, and I would like recreate the scene where it jumps over, like Free Willy.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was one of my favorite movies too. I had that on all the time. All the time. And because of the epic jump.
Yeah, yeah.
Free! All the child. The child did all of that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so Any exciting projects in the future?
Yeah. Well, I do have a movie coming out the day after this one to be called Bury the Bride, which Spider One directed, Rob Zombie's brother.
Oh,
And I have Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game coming out in a few months. I have a movie with Chrissy Metz coming out, and I've got two rom-coms. I've got tons of stuff coming out. That I'll be able to announce dates later on. They all kind of blend together, you know. I'm like, just
yeah.
let me know when they're coming out so I can promote it.
So is like video game acting then like pretty different than live
Oh
action?
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. It is so much physical shit, so
Yeah.
much and constant. It was really, really and talk about 7 days. I mean, that was all in 7 days doing all the mocap stuff, which is pretty challenging and hard on your body. And I also voiced one of the characters. So doing a horror movie in 2 hours using just your voice is a little hard.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how challenging it was going to be, but it definitely, I'm always up for a challenge. And that one definitely was, but it was so fun to do. And I would definitely do it in a heartbeat.
Awesome. Yeah, I think when it comes out, I might just buy it. I don't think I've
Oh, you gotta buy it, and then you gotta play as me.
Yeah, that's right. Hell yeah. Well, Scout, thanks so much for talking
You.
to me and your generous answers. This is it's been awesome. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
yay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, you too. Have fun.
Bye. And that's a wrap on the Nicky Whelan and Scout Taylor-Compton episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time on Shattering Superstructure. This is Alex Arabian signing off.